Welcome back to part 4. For a top inscription, other than that the person died in October 1830 something, aged 68 years, is completely gone. But also you've got Frederick Samuel Sotheby, fifth son of William Sotheby of Sewardsley, Esquire, Colonel in the Bengal Artillery, died the 21st of October 1870. And then you've got Hans William Sotheby, only child of Hans and Isabella Sotheby, born 17th of, and I think it's November 1827, died 25th of September 1874. So, two Sotheby's died in the same year. As you can see, for the other side of it, it is gone. But this one here, you've got see, there would have been a name at the top, but it's gone. And it's got late of Insbury, from who died on the 9th of September 1831, aged 60 years. And then you've got also of Joseph Linton, youngest son of John and Esther Linton, who died on the 19th of September 1817 in the 10th year of his age. Then you've got also Thomas Linton, eldest son of John and Esther Linton, who died on the 21st and was buried something on the 21st of July 1832, aged 32 years. So this Thomas Linton, he died and was buried on the 21st of July 1832. Why did they bury him so quickly? In those days, most likely an infectious disease. Can't prove that, but 1832 was 5 years before birth, marriage and death certificates came in. Joseph Newton, son of the aforesaid William and Mary Newton, who died December the 31st, 1859, aged 83. Also Elizabeth, wife of the above Joseph Newton, who died July the 19th, 1868, aged 89 years. There are partial inscriptions sacred to the memory of Samuel N-E-L M.D. For many years, much trusted brother of this parish. He died the 27th of October, and the year's gone, in the something 4th year of his age. Samuel Nelme, N-E-L-M-E. And you've got also Mrs. Elizabeth Sarah Nelme, who died 17th of November, and I think it's 1871, in the 77th year of her age. Also of Matthew Newton, this name is. So he's Nelm, these are Newton, who died 26th of March 18, and I think it's 87, and the rest of that's gone. So Nelm and Newton. This one here, Elizabeth, daughter of John and Catherine Maria Craven, died 22nd of November 1831, aged 17 months. Also in memory of the aforementioned John Craven Esquire, son of Matthew and Margaret Craven, who died the 4th of September 1834, aged 38 years, and was buried at Compton Dando, Somersetshire. This one here, you've got Mary Harriet, and the surname is covered up, I'm afraid, and it's got something David, second son of, died 16th of October 1863, aged 50 years. These graves are listed, so you can't actually go scraping mould and stuff off of them. To the memory of Matthew Craven, who died the 1st day of July 1814, aged 51 years, and of Margaret, relict of the above, who died the 14th day of December 1819, aged 55 or 88. He died at aged 81 and she died at aged 88. And then you've got Margaret, eldest daughter of the above, and it gets more worn from there on. So sacred to the memory of William Marty, who departed this life April the 10th, 1845, aged 75 years. Beg your pardon. Also of Anne, widow of the above, died November the 7th, 1860 something, the last bit's gone, aged 86 years. It looks like 1866 or 5, but impossible to tell for certain. To the memory of Anne, daughter of William and Anne Marty of this parish, who died June the 25th, 1813, in the 10th year of her age. Also of Christopher, son of the above, who died December the 6th, 1816, aged 3 years, in the 3rd year of his age. And you've got also of Elizabeth, daughter of the above, who departed this life December the 23rd, 1822, aged 6 years. Now we move over to here. There's another one over there. It's quite a famous man, and it's done with a plaque as well, so you get a picture of him as well. To the memory of Dorothy Jane, daughter of Daniel and Elizabeth Birkett, Birkett, died 22nd of April 1811, aged 27 years. Also of their son, Edward Birkett, died 23rd of June 1841, aged 19 years. Also of the above, Daniel Birkett, died 26th of December 1839, in the 82nd year of his age. And of Elizabeth, his wife, died the 11th of December 1866, in the 84th year of her age. Then you've got also Jane, sister of the above, Daniel Birkett, died 6th of January 1872, in the 88th year of her age. Now we'll climb up here, hopefully without falling into any of the graves. There would have been an inscription on there, but I'm afraid it's really, really worn. Same as this one, coat of arms And it's the family vault of... You really can't make it out, so I ain't even going to try. This one here is interesting. The inscriptions are pretty well preserved too. In this vault lies the body of John-Frsncis Rivaz, late of Stoke Newington, who departed this life on the 2nd of September 1808 in the 78th year of his age. Also of Catherine Rivaz, wife of the above, who departed this life on the 2nd of July 1816 in the 73rd year of her age, and also of the body of Maria, and also the body of Maria, the beloved wife of Francis, eldest son of Vincent Frsncis Rivaz. She died at New Brompton on the 2nd of January 1839 in the 40th year of her age, leaving her children and husband and daughter to lament her loss. Also, the body of her husband, Vincent Frsncis Rivaz, who died December the 2nd, 1877, aged 80. I think it's 80, yeah, it's aged 80. And this one here, sacred to the memory of First Lieutenant Frsncis Clifton Rivaz, son of Frsncis Rivaz, of the 1st Bombay Fusiliers, who died on board the Oriental in the Red Sea on the 15th of February 1855, aged 26 years. Lost, deeply regretted by his brother officers, by whom this monument is erected as a memorial of their affectionate esteem. And you have here also lie the children of Vincent Frsncis Rivaz and Williminis, Willielmis, Williminis, his wife. Catherine died the 1st of August 1804, aged 7 months and 13 days. And Caroline died the 6th of April 1814, aged 2 years, 8 months and 19 days. And here you have also Edward, who died 22nd of January 1843 in his 41 year. And you've got also Frederick Lewis, who died the 25th of April 1869 in the 61st year of his age. Also Eliza, wife of the Reverend Baden Powell, and the eldest daughter of Vincent VF, which is Vincent Frsncis Rivaz, died April the 1st, born April the 1st, 1798, died March the 19th, 1836. Now, the Reverend Baden Powell, he went on this was childless, this marriage. He went on to marry 4 other times. Interesting man if you want to look him up. Also, he's not buried here, so I won't cover him, but the Reverend Baden Powell, you'll find him easy enough if you look him up. Also Mary Ann, born May 16th, 1807, died December the 22nd, 1879. Also Maria Ellen Rivaz, born February the 25th, 1805, died December the 22nd, 1888. Also Julia Rivaz, born March the 11th, 1806, died November the 26th, 1902. Now, quite a few of the people buried in this churchyard were particularly long-lived for the era, when the average life expectancy is given as 40 or 45. Sacred to the memory of Frsncis Rivaz, who died no, it's too gone, I'm afraid. It's completely gone, that inscription. See, where the weather, the bits of them that are exposed to the weather, you can see where they just go. Our next one is over here. Sacred to the memory of Isabella Mary Ann Killick, wife of John Richard Killick, and the rest of that is gone, I'm afraid, but we've got her name. Also of Charles Hamerton Killick, second son of John Shepherd and Isabella Mary Ann Killick, who died 6th of November 1838 in the 41st year of his age. Also to the memory of Harriet, the wife of John Killick, son of the above named John Shepherd and Isabella Mary Ann Killick, who died the 7th of July 1858 in the, I think it's 39th year of his age, I think. It's 39th or 89th year of his age. And was buried in a vault in the old chapel near oh no, it's really annoying. Something Middlesex. At Highgate, buried in the old chapel at something Highgate, Middlesex. And also of, it's also to the memory of the above named John Shepherd Killick. I'm afraid the rest, the end bit of that's gone. Who died on the 6th of can't make out the month, 1871 or 4, in the 79th year of his age. Bottom inscription below that is completely gone. Now take us out here to our next most interesting one. The tomb of Captain John Hunter, 1737 to 1821. John Hunter was born in Scotland and was the second governor of New South Wales, Australia. He was a naval officer and had been part of the first fleet which in 1788 sailed to Australia from England to claim the colony of New South Wales in the name of the King of England. He was governor from 1795 to 1800, during the difficult early years of Australia's colonial history. The early colonists were British convicts and the soldiers who had been sent with them to police the colony and to protect it from other European powers. The first free settlers had only begun to arrive 2 years before Hunter became governor. the early governors struggled to ensure sufficient food was available to develop an internal economic system and to produce exports to pay for the country's imports. Hunter is said to have governed the colony with sense, duty and humanity. The Hunter Valley in New South Wales, which produces some of Australia's finest wines, is named after him. The family tomb is Grade 2 listed by English Heritage. Here is the man himself. Do excuse the fly and the bird poo. Engraving of Captain John Hunter by Daniel Orme, published in 1792 at the National Library of Australia. And here you can see an engraving of a direct south view of the town of Sydney taken from the brow of the hill leading to the Flagstaff by James Heath, published in 1798 at the National Library of Australia. And here is the tomb. It is in pretty poor condition, I must admit. If it wasn't for the little plaque we're going to see in a minute, and this one being in front of it, you wouldn't know who was buried here. John Hunter, 2nd Governor of New South Wales, sailed the First Fleet, died 13th of the 3rd, 1821. Fellowship of First Fleeters, 1991. That's who installed this plaque. But I was warned not to walk on this bit because it is starting to collapse. So, that'll do for this part. And you'll get another image of him and some historical information and stuff. Do mind all the police cars. It is in a London urban state, if you want to call it like that. So, historical images, and then you'll join me for the next part. And for our historical look back in this part, we start firstly with the Rivaz family vault, particularly with Frsncis Clifton Rivaz, 1st Lieutenant of the 1st Bombay Fusiliers. Now I've done some research on him. He was born in 1828 in Hackney, and he was christened on the 7th of December 1828 at Hackney St John's. He joined the 1st Bombay Fusiliers in 1844, aged 16 years old. He died on the 15th of February 1855, aged 27 years, on the Red Sea, on board the Oriental. One of these ships is the Oriental and one is the Orient, and I'm not sure which is which. It doesn't say, but one of these is the Oriental. And he was buried at sea, in the Red Sea, on the afternoon of Thursday the 15th, 1855. This isn't an image of his burial at sea, but is an image from the 1850s of a burial at sea to give you an idea what would have happened on that afternoon in the Red Sea in 1855. And the burial at sea was performed by his captain, Captain Hearn, 1st Bombay Fusiliers. This is him in 1860, so just 5 years after the incident of when our man died. And the ship was on its way back home. And the 1st Bombay Fusiliers, a little bit of history on them. The regiment's origins stretch back to the 1680s, when it became part of the East India Company's army. The 1st Bombay European Regiment became a Fusilier unit in 1844. It served in the Second Sikh War of 1848-49, including the Siege of Multan, 1848-49, and the Battle of Gujarat in 1849, and then fought during the Indian Mutiny of 1857-59. As with all other European units of the East India Company, it was placed under the command of the Crown in 1858, formally marking its move to the British Army. In 1862, the regiment was given the number 103 in the line of infantry order of Presidents. It was also granted the title Royal. It arrived in Britain for the first time in 1871. That year, Queen Victoria's son, Prince Arthur, presented it with new colours at Pankhurst in the Isle of Wight. In 1881, it was merged with the 102nd Regiment of Foot, Royal Madras Fusiliers, another former East India Company Fusilier Regiment, to form the Royal Dublin Fusiliers. And that is Frsncis Clifton Rivaz, and a little bit about him. Now, on to our next man, the vault containing Captain John Hunter, who was born on the 29th of August 1737 and died on the 13th of March 1821. He was the second governor of New South Wales, and here you see a colour portrait of him when he was a much older man. He was in office from 1795 to 1800. Here are some of his personal details. And here are just some of his achievements, his military services. And you can see there's a big long list of that. He had a long and distinguished career, a real old sea dog, if you would. He was eventually made a Vice Admiral of the fleet. Governed the colony with compassion and humanity, so they say. And we did see quite a bit about him on his information board, so I won't go into too much detail because you can read him up yourselves if you want. But this is just an entry from his journal, which I thought you may find interesting. And now we'll focus on some images of the man. There's quite a few, so it gives us a nice chance to see him age, if you would. It's not always with our subjects that we can have at least one image, let alone several. This is the colourised in its day image of the one we've just seen, Captain John Hunter, Governor of New South Wales in 1801. Captain John Hunter, this is slightly later. Now this is the portrait of him by William Minyard Bennett, and it's from the collection of the State Library of New South Wales. Now their one has been cleaned and preserved and is in very good condition, but I actually prefer the version from Wikipedia, which has not been cleaned and focuses much more in, and I think you get a lot more of the expression come forward in his face. I like this one. For some reason I was just drawn more to this than this one. And it is the same portrait. Just a little bit older. And that concludes this tour. I hope you all found it interesting, and thank you very much for watching. Join me for the next part.